Hello and welcome to our latest episode of West Coast XC. I am your host, Ken Martinez. If you're watching this on YouTube, please click on the subscribe button. That really helps and supports what we're doing here at West Coast XC and providing free coverage and free photos for athletes, coaches, and family members. If you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, please give us a follow also. That's also super helpful. I appreciate all the support and goodwill that we're receiving from all the people out there that are watching here, listening, and then going on our website and Instagram account. So thank you. On this episode of West Coast XC, I'll be talking with Troy Burns. He is one of the coaches at Westlake High School in Ventura County, California. And Troy is one of the meet directors of the Westlake Distance Carnival, this year called the Westlake Moorpark Distance Carnival, which he will explain. And this last weekend, I went to the Husky Classic at the University of Washington. It's one of the three meets they have. They have between the middle of January to the middle of February. And it was an opportunity for athletes to try to get on that top 16 on the TFRRS list and make it to the NCAA Championship Division I, which will be later on in March. I did not get to go on Friday, but I was there all day Saturday, and I took pictures of all the distance races. If you would like to see those photos and download those photos for free, you can go to our website at westcoastxc.com or go on our bio at westcoastxc on Instagram and find links to all the different photo galleries. So I'll go through some of the highlights of the invitational version of the meet on Saturday. There was the women's 800, which is actually the final race of the day. Haley Kitching of Penn State ran 1:59.22 to take home the win. Her time makes her the number 2 runner in the NCAA Division I on TFRRS. And she led 3 other athletes that also broke 2 minutes. One of them was Chloe Forrester. It was the first time Chloe Forrester of Washington broke 2 minutes. She seemed very pleased. I got some great photos of her celebrating at the end of the race. In the men's 800, interestingly enough, the fast heat was the second fastest heat because the heat right before that was the one in which Joe Wascom of Adidas won in 1:46.76. He was followed closely behind by Reinhard Harrison of Northern Arizona University. He ran 1:46.93, so that was the fastest race in the men's 800. In the women's invitational mile, Billa Jepkui of Oklahoma State ran 4:22.92, which makes her the number 4 runner on TFRRS. Also was a facility record at 4:22.92. Then in the women's 3,000, Betty Kipkori of Iowa State won the invitational 3,000 in a time of 8:44.09, which moved Betty to number 8 on TFRRS. Remember, you want to be in the top 16. In the men's 5,000, Kelvin Chariot of Florida came diagonally across the country to Seattle and won the men's 5,000 in 13:15.57, which moves him to number 5 on TFRRS. Also set a facility record at 3:15.57. And finally, in the women's 5,000, Edna Chaluli of Eastern Kentucky won the women's invitational 5,000 in a time of 15:05.16, which puts Edna at number 4 at TFRRS. So what an outstanding meet where the winners moved up pretty high on the list and brought a bunch of other runners behind them to crack the top 16 too. So it was a great meet. The Dempsey does not disappoint. I really enjoy going there every year and was sorry to see the meet end, but the whole series end, and I'll look forward to going back there in January. Now let's talk to Coach Burns at Westlake High School about the invitational that's happening this weekend at Moorpark High School. Well, we're happy to have Coach Troy Burns of Westlake High School on today. Hey, Coach.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I have you on because this weekend is the Westlake Moorpark Distance Carnival. It's normally the Westlake Distance Carnival, but this year is at Moorpark High School. Why is that?
This year, the meet's being held at Moorpark High School because our track and field, along with all the other schools and districts, is being replaced slash resurfaced this off season. So the hope with the track was that they'd be done before the meet would be, ready to go tomorrow, or actually this weekend, excuse me. And again, it's raining presently. The weather's not
Yeah.
cooperating, so they pushed us off to March 1st. So that Nate is now back then. We still need paint and all that stuff. In theory, if they got out there and painted, all we need is a track. The track
Mhm.
is resurfaced, but they're like, oh, we need time to work and all that stuff. So, anyways, Moore Park has been great, and in the next couple weeks or so, we should have our track back to normal and everything else. But we can't thank the guys at Moore Park, Scott Mangers, Rob Dearborn, for having us, and they are serving as co-hosts this year, even though traditionally it's just the Westlake Distance Carnival.
And is this the first meet of the Southern section, or
Uh,
just the first meet for you guys? Or
yeah, no, this is the first weekend of competition. Yes.
okay, so opening meet for all the kids in their school uniforms. And
Correct.
the question I have for you is it's called the Distance Carnival. It has the 800, 1600, 3200, 4 by 800. They do at the state meet now. Um, what was the origins of the meet? It's a distance event.
Yeah, the meet actually originated about 2018, but it was at a different venue and it was kind of smallish. And then when COVID hit, we had a chance to take. Chad's always timed the meet. Chad Scott, my co-head coach, has always timed the meet slash Westlake timing. And so we had the chance to, after COVID, bring it to Westlake, and then we kind of changed it to the Westlake Distance Carnival. And so it was nice because then what we wanted to do was have a great early season distance event. And since 2021, it's been in the current format. And then in 2023, we added in the 4x8, not even knowing that
Hmm.
the 4x8 would turn into what the 4x8 is now. And so we would love to have it under the lights and have it kind of be a night meet first week and all that stuff. But our girls soccer team is awesome for the most part. Usually every
Hmm.
season they're going postseason, blah, 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 and all that stuff. So we end up hosting in the morning, which is never a bad thing because the conditions are great. It's usually like 50, 55 degrees, worst case scenario, and kids just, run great and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So it's like I said, it originated a little bit earlier on in another place, and then we were able to take it on and take it to our place, and that's how it became the Westlake Distance Carnival.
And then what happened? The other members of the team, the jumpers, throwers, and the sprinters, hurdlers, do they start their season a week later, or do they go to an alternative meet?
It just depends on how the schedule looks for us. Last year, we had some kids go over to the Jerry Harwood meet. That's in Oxnard. There is the Oaks Christian Sprint Spectacular this weekend, which is strictly just sprints 100, 200, 400. I think they're doing some relays and things like that. We might have some kids there. It just depends on what our sprint coaches are doing. But usually we'll start with them next weekend at Tara Davis well, we have a quad meet that we'll do with Buena, Moore Park, as well as Del Sol on Wednesday. So all kids were on that one. But at Invitationals, it will definitely start at Tar Davis, but they could be going to the Sprint Spectacular this weekend.
Do the kids appreciate and coaches appreciate that they get a chance to maybe get an early season mark and maybe possibly get an Arcadia mark or meets like that?
I think the athletes, yes, who are definitely aware of what track and field truly is, do understand that any meet can be an Arcadia qualifier or whatever it might be, and so the returners who are coming back definitely know that this meet or any other meet could be an Arcadia qualifier for sure. The young freshmen who have kind of like no real clue and they're just kind of learning as they go, getting their feet wet, so to speak, they just go with the flow. And for example, I mean, we have a couple young ladies on our team who are very fast. They have no idea what all that stuff means. They'll learn very quickly, and that should happen this weekend for them. So
Yeah, and I also saw in your entries, it's not a varsity event. It's for all kids that want to race, which is awesome.
yeah.
And you'll have, like you said, you'll have freshmen. This is going to be their first high school experience.
Yeah. So we try to gear the event so that everybody can run. It's not like, it's seated this or that, even though it is seated. Let me requit myself there. It's seated in the sense of their seed times from whatever, but every kid can run. It doesn't matter what, how fast you are or whatever. And then to also benefit the fact that, let's say you end up in a heat where you might be the 20th seed. okay, in that heat, you're not going to medal, but if let's say you end up in another heat, we medal kids through the top 5 in every heat, regardless. And so let's say you're that kid who is brand new. If you end up in heat in comparable times, let's say you're a 7:30 miler for a girl, you got a shot to medal. And that's awesome. And we appreciate that. And we think that's exciting for them as well.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Another question I have for you is you told a little bit of the history there. What are some of the highlights of the meet that you can recall?
Um, well, typically at this meet, the 1600 has kind of been more of the showcase. There's been some phenomenal stuff that we've seen over the years. As I said, it kind of started out in 2018. And back then, Saugus, coming from the Santa Clarita Valley, with their history and stuff, they would make their way out. And Maria Castillo of Saugus was a double winner back in the day, and she set 2 meet records in the 800 and 3200 in 2018. Jillian Mackey of Viewpoint was a repeat champion in 3200 and still holds the meet record. She broke Maria Castillo's record, and she holds that at 1108. Matthew Russell of Royal, who ended up running at UCSB, I want to say, after doing some stint at Moorpark. He dropped an early season 156 in the 800 back in 2021. When we added that 4x8, the Oaks Christian boys and girls always seem to like to jump in that relay. And so in 2023 and 24, Peyton Godsey, Grace Geyer led teams. They went 939 a couple years back, which is awesome. And so again, with the 4x8 taking the place it has in our state meet and CIF finals, this year it's going to be a scoring event at CIF finals. Hey, if you can get early meet, early time here and set the tone, you never know what could happen. The 1600 I was saying has been the prominent thing. A lot of quality performances. Just to hype Westlake a little bit, Rebecca Schultz was a 3-time repeat champion. 18, 19, 20, I think. Casey Barber won it 21, 22 or 22, 23. One of those two years. Peyton Godsey dropped a 5 flat, and that's the meet record as we speak. And then as we were talking earlier before we're getting on recording, Liam Vasilio broke Casey's record, and he is now the present record holder at 419. So to run a 419 in February,
Yeah,
you're
fast.
doing some pretty good stuff. So it's exciting. It's exciting. Yeah.
It's possible that you could have some meet records broken on Saturday. Who are some athletes we should look for at the Westlake Moorpark Distance Carnival?
Yeah, it's interesting because the entries aren't due until Thursday. And so right now, all I can look at is what I see on paper slash, computer. And, that 156, I think it could be broken, but we'll see. The boys 800 has a couple of Agura studs, Dorian Benning, Nathan DeLue, who've been all state, all CIF and stuff. I think Dorian's run, definitely sub 15 in cross. He's coming out in the 8. He should be able to, potentially run a 156. I don't know. Sebastian Di Vicente of Buena High School. He's a definite 158 guy as a sophomore. And so we'll see what he can do. And then the random dark horse in there is Leighton Wienert of Westlake. He's coming up from the 400 to the 800. He's run 123, 124 in the 600 during the winter championship season. And so we're kind of trying to convince him to run the 800. So we'll see what he can do there. That one could be really a lot of fun. It's always interesting because the Oaks Christian boys always seem to show up in the 800, but yet as of right now, they're not entered in anything. Whereas the girls are entered, but the boys aren't. So I don't know. I could touch base with Coach Smith, but I haven't just yet. As far as the 1600 side of things go, like I said, it's kind of the showcase, but right now you have 4 girls seated at 502 or better. You've got defending champ Delaney Naparelli of Oaks Christian. She ran a 457. Is that what I no.
That's the entry time, yeah.
Entry time, but I want to say she even ran faster than that post cross country. I remember watching a thing with her and Vin Kruger and Sterling White, and they ran this unbelievable time in December, but that I'm not sure if that's the seed time or not. But so she's the top seed. Maggie De La Rionda of TO. All these kids are from the Mormonte League, by the way, which is crazy. She's got a seed time of 5 flat, and then you have the Cruz sisters of Westlake, freshmen. Just bundle of energy. They're so fun to coach. They're coming in with seed times of 4:59 and 5:02 based off of a 1500 and a 3200. Anais ran 4:41 at the Winter Championships last week, and Sabina ran a 10:46 equivalent in a 3,000. She ran 10:06, so that puts her about a 5:02. So that could get very exciting. On the boys side in the 1,600, you've got Ollie O'Connor, who's not defending, but a returning state finalist in the 3,200. They've got him entered at 4:18, but guys run sub 9, so who knows what he could do right now. Vigo Bordelin and his teammates from Foothill are in there. You've got Ethan Barak of Taft, who ran a 3:58 at the Winter Championships in the 1,500. So it could get really exciting. Don't want to leave out Orrin Hill of Thousand Oaks. That would be 3 in a row if somehow he could pull that. The Thousand Oaks have 3 wins in a row. That'd be kind of fun. Coming back in the 32. The 32 is usually the meet, the race at this meet that kind of gets left out. And I think that's just because people are looking for 32s down the road. But, the meet record's 9:30 and change or so. So who knows? Barak's coming back in that. Dorian Benning looks to be entered in that from Magura, like I said earlier. So who knows what could happen. With the 4x8, I think the meet record is always up to be broken right now because you've got teams that are, doing this or that. And right now, the boys' side's only 8:23. I know we have a team that's entered at about 8:10, so we'll see what happens there. I know that Oaks has their girls coming in, and Delaney is coming in. That team is part of that. So who knows? It'll be a lot of fun. I mean, it's just what the coaches decide to do and how their kids feel after running and maybe another race earlier. But we're looking forward to it. It's a lot of fun. We love having, all these kids, not at our place this year, but at Moorpark. I mean, Moorpark's where CF Finals is, CF Masters is. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I know you're having some rainy weather, but it looks like maybe Saturday it could be pretty nice. It could be
the weather should be good. Be good. And again, I mean, if it's cool in the morning, you can't get any better than for distance runners.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to coming and taking pictures of the meet and being at Moorpark. I'm sorry I'm going to miss Westlake, but maybe next time. See your brand new line track.
Yeah, well, it should be exciting, because the field got all done and then they resurfaced the track. We were hoping for a full redo, but again, I'm not sure how the money works and all that stuff. So it's all surface right now, but just needs paint.
Yeah.
If they could just have painted it, we'd have been there, but it is what it is.
Well, we'll look forward to the meet on Saturday. Good luck setting up for the meet for your busy weekend, and we will see you on Saturday.
Definitely. So looks good. Right. We'll see you then.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Ken.
I want to give a thanks to Coach Troy Burns of Westlake High School, one of the co-meet directors. He's the co-meet director with Chad Scott at Westlake, and they are putting on the Westlake Moorpark Distance Carnival, an opportunity for athletes to set their marks at the first week of the season. And what makes it a fun event is that all athletes that are distance runners are invited. And so you'll get athletes of different abilities. Some will be running their first track meet of their life. Others are veterans. And I appreciate Troy coming on and giving us what we should expect to see. I will be at the meet. I won't be able to stay the whole meet, but I'll stay for a chunk of the meet and take some photos. And hopefully I'm there long enough to take your picture if you're racing at the Westlake Moorpark Distance Carnival. And you can find those photos shortly after the meet on our website at westcoastxc.com. You can always go to our bio on our Instagram account at westcoastxc. So last week I was in Seattle, and now the next week I'll be in Southern California, because Seattle and Southern California are on the West Coast. And we all know that the West Coast is the best coast. We'll see you next time.